We've gone back into some more North American naughties now for a little bit as we carry on with GNiK versus DaHanG, Harry, our 5th series of the day.
We have done indeed. Again, tall order for GNiK. It can be done though. You know, he's seen improvements compared to when he was in the Pro League in a couple of stages ago. But DaHanG, though, again, it's a very tall order. It's very difficult of an ask. We know what DaHanG and Rafa are like, both in the top 2 in the Americas in terms of gatekeeping. But GNiK is another player, kind of like Sparty earlier in the EU region. He needs to win this. It is a must-win for him. If it's not them, I'm not too sure what else he's going to do here, because sadly for him, just like Effortless, he has been riding the struggle bus throughout the course of the stage. So I do hope that GNiK can show some life in this game, or at least in some of his maps, to get something going and hopefully not make it too easy for DaHanG.
I'm worried, though, because I feel like this is one of those games where it probably is going to be quite heavily favoured to DaHanG. And, you know, we'd obviously be foolish not to suggest that as an idea. GNiK is a good competitor, and we have seen him growing, and we've seen him getting better. But I don't think we've seen that level of growth at the same rate we have with, say, like a GNiK, right? It's not been like a night and day in performance where we've seen him really covering leaps and bounds. He is getting better. But DaHanG is still such a hard opponent to take down. We still see some of the best struggling when they go toe-to-toe with this absolute giant. He's a bit of a behemoth on the server, and we've seen that represented by his new jersey as well, Harry. Hopefully, he brings the Hulk rage to the game tonight, though, because that's what GNiK is going to need to capitalise. Can this man be quick enough on the draw tonight to actually shut him down and get a couple of points? There's potential, but it is not, and I mean really not, going to be an easy ride for him.
It won't be. I know GNiK is a good player anyway. The only problem is for GNiK is the fact that he needs to try and step up and push himself mentally as well as physically in game. Don't get me wrong, it is a tall order. It's a big ask for GNiK to try and take down DaHanG, considering he hasn't won the series throughout the entire course of the day. So not even at the day, of the entire stage. So you've got to think to yourself, really, what can GNiK do here? Can he be a bit more unpredictable? Maybe needs a bit more dual experience. Maybe he just needs to try and adapt to a lot of his opponents a lot better, and maybe try and prep a lot better in course of like trying to face up against some of his opponents, because he has been struggling quite a lot. But then at the same time, he has taken quite a few maps off some of these players as well, just not closing out the series as a whole.
Well, that's the only issue, right? Because he does have his moments where he shows up, and GNiK gives us some really good games. But as you said, it's just about closing down those series. That's the only difference, because that way you're actually going to make some points. He is in 18th position. So again, it is just a matter of, you know, you're down towards that relegation zone. You are in a bit of dangerous territory. There's choppy waters there. Is he really going to climb that much higher out of it, though? This late into the season, I don't particularly see it happening. And I feel like for DaHanG, it's probably just going to be business as usual. He'll turn up. We might have a close map here or there, but I think he probably is going to walk away as the victor when the dust settles.
It will be, yeah, unless it's like some kind of night and day progress is made. I can't really see any different. DaHanG, you know, ex-world champion a couple of times. He's been playing this game for such a long time as well, with the amount of experience he has in terms of duel as well in past tournaments. DaHanG is just absolutely ridiculous and still a remarkable player. And the thing is, though, with DaHanG, he adapts so well, and he probably doesn't download his opponents as quick as Rafa, but is not far off on Quake Champions. It's just really hard for DaHanG to, or even to say that DaHanG could even lose this series. Maybe even a map, we'll have to see.
Maybe we will. Who knows? Potentially we could be swung by the veto, I guess. That might be the only bit that might, you know, change our mindset going into it. There could be some gems thrown into the mix. Let's have a look. Let's see if maybe there is any key takeaways that stand out here. In terms of the first map, we're going back in on Vale. Another series with Vale tonight. We're getting a lot of Vale games. It's good. It's actually providing us some of the more chaotic matchups we've had. That's Ranger versus Galena. Standard battle of the two titans there. Moving on to Ruins. This is a little bit more of what I want to see coming out. You've got the grandfather himself for Strogan Peeper. It's just a massive peep, of course. He's going to eat that bad boy alongside the throne of scones. Right, Strogan Peeker, right? Like, DaHanG is truly a god of Strog. He's so effective with it. Massively brought it into the meta. He's going to have a field day. That's versus GNiK's BJ. He's a good man at the BJ. He can do an awful lot with it. We've seen him excelling in the past when he's had BJ on parade. But again, I look at Ruins and that's screaming DaHanG to me. Finally closing it down on Blood Covenant. That's the battle of yin and yang, Harry. The Visor versus the Nyx.
Yeah, Visor does counter the Nyx in multiple ways, especially when she ghost walks away, because with the piercing sight you can follow her and see exactly where she goes. DaHanG has been banned, so it looks like DaHanG had that plan all along and managed to get his way in terms of the champion picks, which is quite interesting. As you see, the Eisen's banned on Veil, but quite standard picks. I'd say Blood Covenant, Visor versus Nyx, that's quite old meta rather than new meta. Normally we'll see the Athena in play, but because it's been banned, it's been slightly different. So DaHanG getting that Visor pick, especially on Blood Covenant, is huge for him. It's a big deal, and at least this way GNiK, if he feels like he does not really a big fan of the close quarter battles or in terms of the combat, at least he's got some other maps like Ruins and Blood Covenant where he's got a bit more space to play with here.
Yeah, you just got to overthrow Big Man Peeper. Just be aware of him.
Oh,
but
yes.
That's obviously to come up a little bit later. Let's talk about the first map then to start us off. This is what we're going in with to kick us off with this series. Of course, in on Veil, again, very close quarters, very claustrophobic in the design of the map. It does come down to you really having to hit your shots and count your blessings when you go into fights as well. Not much room to escape. You are pretty much locked in. Definitely one of the more, I'd say, aggressive maps in terms of some of the angles you can be caught in. Causes a lot of high-octane fights. With a Galena versus Ranger, it does just for me go the way of DaHanG. I hope there's going to be some momentum shown here from GNiK though. He's good on the Ranger all round. We've seen he is a very good competitor. His name's the Shredder. Let's see if he can live up to the mix here and actually come through and lay down the law versus DaHanG, or if this is going to be DaHanG just living it large and walking away with the victory. We're in on the first map. Already a little bit of a kerfuffle's been caused. We've seen the opening shots come out, but nothing too much to write home about yet, Harry.
Most people would agree and assume that DaHanG will take this, but an upset is always possible, and it would be nice too. But look at this though, DaHanG is just going back and forth for the telly. Just been a bit of a nuisance for GNiK here, but GNiK is the one with the bigger stack. DaHanG's at the disadvantage, and so far decides to back away, goes into the rail room, gets the light armor, takes a little bit of damage, but at least GNiK's been fed some info on DaHanG's whereabouts. But now he does have the rail. And GNiK is literally just above him, but he hasn't a rough idea that he could be dropping down. And GNiK is the one who wins that bout and starts off in a nice way.
So GNiK opening it up like the human can opener. He started to burn the top off of DaHanG, and he's looking to get more done as well. Good adjustment around here with the LG. This is nice. Quick switch back to the HMGs. He was looking to try and put him to bed, but DaHanG with the rail, shot after shot. Even though the man was getting grinded to a pulp by GNiK, he took it on the chin, kept his composure, switches back to the rail, and ends GNiK in seconds there. That was brutal.
That was also so risky, and he managed to get away with that. DaHanG with the first rail. He's going to come out with the LG to see if he can try and finish GNiK off. The ult comes in, fakes it out. DaHanG did not fall for it, of course. Made the assumption knowing that he could be doing that. But now DaHanG is waiting on the rail spawn. Gets the Mega, drops down. Waiting to see if GNiK does push for those rockets. It will be something on his priority list at some stage. But DaHanG decided to prioritize top mid control, gets to heavy, and look at the stat jack. He's pretty much laughing at this point. It will be chasing down GNiK. It will be bouncing through. Surprised GNiK managed to get away with that. The LG's come in though, and it's looking good for DaHanG. Managed to clean up nicely. Took more damage than I expected, but it doesn't matter as DaHanG increases his lead.
Oh my. DaHanG just really coursing ahead at the minute. And this is what we're worried about. This is the sort of plays that come out from this man. This is when he does start to go Hulk mode, and you really can't stop him because he just barrels out of control. And right now, he's got barrels of impact frags tied to him. 3 to be precise, this is just popping off in all of these plays, annihilating GNiK. And some of them have been outrageous as well. Like the encountery one where he was just firing off the rail shots. I don't know how he's been able to win that. I don't know how he's got the confidence as well, Harry. The balls to basically just stand there being pummeled shot after shot and hit those well-timed rails. It was wonderful to watch. DaHanG keeping himself moving as well. Just building up, playing off the major items, creating the space between him and GNiK. He's going to try and get both in one go here. Sticking to his rockets, turns the corner, 21 damage as he gets the peek off onto GNiK. Not enough to send him packing, but enough to at least slow him down. This is when DaHanG can capitalize as well. Get the Mega. He's got a lot of armor. He's got even more health, so the stack is building, and he can use that to his advantage in the next encounter. GNiK not wanting to give away information for free, though, does slow it down. Instead, just slowly walking his way around, shuffling at a snail's pace. As he peeks out, he's just going to be punished, though, as that hard exterior gets shattered by the opening contact rail. DaHanG in a great position now, Harry, to take this 4-1 in the next encounter.
GNiK trying to figure out exactly what DaHanG is up to. DaHanG's not really staying in the same place. He's just going through rockets to see if he can bait him out. He's trying to at least abuse the advantage DaHanG has, but he hasn't really found much of an opening as of yet. His GNiK is also kind of dilly-dallying around the rail area and trying to push for those rockets. But as you can see now, GNiK does have all the weapons in his arsenal. It's just DaHanG trying to see if he can catch GNiK off guard. But GNiK here, I can understand what he's doing. He's just trying to at least not give away too many frags and let things get out of hand, which is always possible. But he's staying out of sight, but needs to get some chip damage done to DaHanG, or else it will not work in his favor when they have their next engagement. But the totems are going up. Only got one totem at the moment, which is pretty standard on Vale. Rockets are coming in for both players. DaHanG was just trying to see if he can get that one rail off and see if he can push into GNiK afterwards. But look at this though, the stacks are almost equal. GNiK has the Mega now, and he's the one with the slight advantage, and DaHanG's the one who needs to be careful on which ground he treads on.
Needs to get the socks pulled up and the boots firmly tied, as GNiK is running out of time, and if he wants to try and turn the tide, he needs to bite back soon. Coming down towards the 6-minute mark. So right now he just lurks around. Spotted out, goes for the rocket jump straight up and charges into combat, firing out the near misses with the unzoomed rail, but none of them are going to land. DaHanG backs off, plays for the items, picks up the rockets once again, and he's getting ever closer towards having all 3 of the totems down. That's a pocket overheal, ready for when he needs it to drop that down. That's basically a free mega health. On the close encounter, misses with the rail, gets 20 damage off with the follow-up shot from the tri-bolt, though, at least on the fade away. Still creating more distance between the both of them. He's not getting the major items now for once. He's at least been forced out of control, but on Galena, you don't need the major items. You can produce your own, and that's what he's done. He's played the timing. He's waited until he's got all 3 totems up. He's now got the extra health to try and swing it into action, and he just waits for the spawn in here towards the heavy. He can launch himself back up there, try and secure the heavy, and then he'd have a good build going into the next fight. Issue is, GNiK wins on that encounter. He's also still kept his dire orb as well, and he hasn't taken too much. A little bit of a punch head on as he tried to re-aggress Harry, but it's just a matter of wasting time here. DaHanG, really, he's just burning time off the clock.
I love what GNiK did though. Even though DaHanG wasn't in the rail room, it's very easy for GNiK to maybe just leave it and look elsewhere, but instead he went into the rail room and just to make sure if anyone, not just anyone was there, but just to take out the totems, because that's where they're normally left if you're on the back foot. It's quite a common place. It seems like GNiK near that rocket room. Backing down for now, but knows DaHanG's got the advantage there. A lot of LG damage there too. The totem's down just to add more damage if he comes through, but GNiK has decided not to. He's decided to bounce up. First rail for DaHanG. Gonna try and clean up if he can. Yes, he does. Just barely. 62 HP. Gets the Mega now. Will he contest the rockets? No, he will not. GNiK's now gonna go below for rail, and DaHanG's now stacked once more, even though he's up 4-1. So it looks like GNiK really needs to get something going now, or else it's going to be too little too late as the first rail comes in. Dan's going to see if he can clean up. If he can, decides not to go for the orb, and DaHanG chops down. It's going to maybe make this 5-1. First shotgun's not the best, but the second one has made up for it. 5-1 in favour of DaHanG.
Bouncy Bouncy, oh, such a good time as he responds in kind, going out with a second frag as well. Oh, Harry. Shoes all in a line. White socks slipping down. DaHanG, he's just living a high life right now, jumping towards the sky as this scoreline is reaching the sky. And GNiK, unfortunately, has been set on a course for the stratosphere, kept up in the air, continuously leaping higher and higher. That's not ideal. And this is getting worse by the second now. DaHanG barreling out of control. At this point, he's got a 6-frag lead. We're down to a minute and a half left on the game as well. And DaHanG is edging closer to complete dominance over GNiK on the first map. We know he's good on Vale, but he's come out and pulled out all the stops, showing why this is home turf for him. Playing fabulously so far.
It's been looking very good for DaHanG, and even though he had to give up that heavy, GNiK is on the back foot, went into one of the totems on the jump pad. But it's already too little, too late anyway. 1 minute left remaining. 7-1 in favour of DaHanG. All he needs to do is keep the under control and keep up top, and then he should be fine. But in all fairness, I think it's pretty much said and done here. GNiK pretty much knows that too. It looks like, for now though, it was a great game. GNiK did make the right plays, didn't let things get too out of control. Even though he was giving DaHanG too much item control overall, he didn't really try and push him and try and catch him off guard or try and be a little bit unpredictable or anything like that. He just kept his ground, stood his ground, and made sure that DaHanG didn't have some kind of considerable advantage across the map. And even though he had to give away a lot of that map control, but it forced DaHanG to try and chase after him. But all said and done though, anyway, DaHanG still up 7-1. GNiK walking into another totem. Doesn't matter anyway, like I said, it's too little, too late. Few seconds left remaining, and that is going to be the first map all said and done as DaHanG managed to take that of the series.
There you go. It's all done and dusted. On the first map, it's over with. There's no real way it could have gone other than that. DaHanG just looked dominant pretty much throughout the whole course of it. He was playing brilliantly there. It is his home turf. We know it's a map that he's good on. And it didn't even matter when he was out of control, because there was quite a big period there where GNiK did manage to get in control of the major items. He was seeming to turn the tides, but you got that mega health, you got the pocket heal, you can drop it down, you can get back into the game. That's just the nature of being a Galena player whose turrets weren't found and weren't taken out, Harry. And DaHanG just coasts, just keeps it calm, glides his way to victory. Had a couple of really tasty moments there as well with a few of the frags he found. It was wonderful to watch. But now, that map aside, we're going into Ruins. Ruins is going to be the second map for the series. It's a BJ for GNiK and the Strog and Pika for DaHanG. Two champs that we know they are both very good on, respectively. But when it comes to a head-to-head, who do we favour?
It's going to be DaHanG. I'm not going to lie. You can't really count the guy out. It's at least, like I said earlier, GNiK has got a bit more room to play with. He's got a little bit more space to work on what he wants to do and why. He can express more of his aggression like you'd normally see from GNiK. You didn't really see too much from that. It was always on the back foot. He always had to be a bit more methodical in the calculations of how he wants to go around certain areas of the map. Ruins might be a little bit easier for him, we'll have to see, but DaHanG's also very good on this map. Even though it's not his best, it's definitely up there as a good one for him. GNiK just needs to try and reset and go into the second game, but I don't think GNiK will be too demoralised from that. I think he played it right in most areas, but some of the situations he put himself in was very 50-50, like the rail DaHanG got earlier on. That was very risky, but it was so worth it. It gave him full map control, and he just pretty much walked away with it.
No, I don't think he's going to really take this one to heart too much and not be willing to come back in and put up a fight on the second. But the issue is it is just quite a risk you run into when DaHanG is playing to his true form, right? He's hard to beat at the best of times, especially when he's pumped up and going into the game off the back of a win like he's just got there in such a dominant fashion. If we're talking about the momentum, he's certainly going to be the one to watch going into it. And you're right, it does feel like at this point it is just DaHanG, kind of grinding his way through, farm up some points towards the end of the season, keep himself locked in towards that top four and stay up on the upper end of the bracket. But there is still a chance. GNiK's run's not over yet. He just needs to have a better performance here on the second map around, which seems like we're getting into soon. Ruins of Sarnath. Strog and Pika for DaHanG. He loves a bit of Strog. He gave us some of the most decisive Strog gameplay. He's really thrusted the character into the forefront, Harry, and it made Strog such a household name in Champions compared to what we had before they actually brought in the crouch slide. So we know that you should be wary of this man, Strog and Pika.
Words, Jack. We've both been very good with words today, but GNiK... Oh, the suicide comes in. Not the start he wanted, but it doesn't matter, as I felt like DaHanG would have taken him down anyway. DaHanG still looking to regain his stack. His default stack anyway. Gets to heavy. GNiK has the mega, so he has the advantage to try and push in and make something happen here. Decides to drop down for the rail anyway and prioritize the weapons in his arsenal. That was a beautiful rocket there. Takes out the Pika 2. This could be an opportunity for GNiK to drop down and wait for DaHanG to pop out after he gets the health orbs, which he has done. LG comes in. Surely this is a frag here for GNiK. Yes, finally gets taken down. And GNiK now, even though it's 0-all, ties things up and hopefully can make a bit more of a statement compared to that last map.
Right. Well, so far, we haven't seen a frag on the board just yet, but it could be coming up very soon as we see DaHanG flying into action. Oh, that is disgusting. The response with a rail there as he catapults himself across the map. He is the human trebuchet, and he's showing just how dastardly he can be on the execution. Clean tags, even better frag. Has to try and get out of the fight there, though. Can't really dilly-dally around and get involved into that encounter. Needs to heal himself back up, so makes the mad dart across towards the mega. They split the major items, but in terms of the actual frags, DaHanG is ahead by 1. Nearly gets himself a second as well, as GNiK fighting. Goes back into the carnage once more, peeking out, firing out some nails to keep his distance, but DaHanG is willing to commit into this. Issue is, he might be willing, but I don't know if he's able, because he's not actually hitting the rails to respond back to GNiK. And he's just bombarding down with the rails now, on the nails even, as he is trying to make sure GNiK won't peek, so he could guarantee that major item, and actually go for both. And he's going to get them, Harry. DaHanG in a great position in the early game.
He certainly will indeed. Nails, rails if all else fails, but he's going to pop up anyway to see if he can try and make something happen up top, which he has done. DaHanG 2-0, and it's a little bit more of a different story here, and GNiK needs to be have a bit more of a watchful eye. If DaHanG increases his lead further, he's going to go for the spawn trap. It decides to actually back away instead and made the assumption that GNiK will already push down, but GNiK went towards the tri-bolt anyway, just in case. But DaHanG, this is the thing about DaHanG now. His mobility and the speed of Strog, it's just going to make things worse for GNiK here. GNiK needs to try and capitalize now. He can't leave things too little too late, or DaHanG will play it a little bit more passive. But I can't really imagine DaHanG doing that as of yet. He's still got a lot more life in him, and you can see that his shot has been almost perfect in a lot of the battles he's put himself in.
Okay, DaHanG definitely showing that it wasn't just a blip on Vale. It is just a level of quality this man gives up on the regular. As right now, he's overthrowing GNiK at every single encounter. Finally, for once, though, he's kept close in the combat, and he's actually cut through GNiK on the rail. It's a big kill there, and opens up the course of the game. This gives him a chance to really spiral out of control if he can keep landing these shots. DaHanG has to be quick to get away. Barely stays alive there as he skirts his way out, skating to safety and trying to rebuild himself back up from those items and at least getting himself a bit of an arsenal to play with as well. Couple of items picked up here and there. GNiK slowing down the game, though. Instead, just repositioning, listening out. Doesn't quite know where DaHanG is lurking and where he's hiding, keeping himself locked down in the depths there. GNiK, what is going to be the play here?
Item control has been quite even for both of these players. So has the damage. GNiK with 260 more damage than his counterpart. But GNiK is quite lucky. If this is Molten Falls, the mobility of Strog would be a little bit more of a problem. But on Ruins, it's a bit of a different story, as GNiK now is just staying on the low ground for the time being, knows that the heavy's going to come up in the next couple of seconds. Not really too sure if he'll have time to go for the mega. No, he won't, but he's going to see and double check on the timing of it, which he does get. Finds out it's going to be at 5:26.
5-minute warning.
But now needs to be careful on what he wants to do next and how he wants to try and tackle down DaHanG. And this is the problem, you see. He always seems to be on the low ground. He needs to get some kind of high ground here, some kind of height advantage, which he finally has done now, but it's took a little bit of damage going through that teleporter. And DaHanG taking a bit more damage there. A rail as well. This could be GNiK's opportunity to make something happen, but decides to prioritize the heavy once more.
DaHanG backing off for now. Instead, straight back through the portal. About 18 seconds till Mega's up. And GNiK still just trying to keep his space away from him. Hasn't really pushed back around. Hasn't been seen yet. DaHanG doesn't know exactly where he is. And GNiK is sneaking back up. Starts to jump once again as he comes up the spiral staircase towards the Mega Health. Lots of noise will be made. DaHanG trying to bait him out with the sounds of the rockets going off as he drops down. They'll split the major items. They'll take one apiece just as we hit 6 minutes. With 4 minutes to go now, it's up to GNiK to start climbing this mountain. DaHanG, although he's only 2 frags ahead, time is ticking away. You need to get back into the game relatively soon. Shot coming out, Pika to punish, as it will completely knock him off the bridge, sending him down towards the bounce pad. Leaped back up by the rockets, but he's taken so much damage from the LG. He's barely alive, and he's going to be finished off once again. DaHanG will drop him just as we get to 6 minute 30. It seemed like maybe there was a chance for GNiK to get back into the game, but it's not going to happen right now.
It's not at all indeed. DaHanG's going to try and clean things up. Yes, he will. Back-to-back frags now increases his lead 5-1. But DaHanG played that really well. GNiK could have easily taken him down in a couple of those scenarios if he was just a little bit more aggressive, even though DaHanG may have taken one of the items. But DaHanG gets the Mega. We'll get the heavy shortly. The items are separated enough in terms of timing to pick up both. And this is where GNiK is going to be in a pretty rough position, as he's still got 2 minutes and 45 left, but needs to start off with the chip damages. Took a bit of I would say a little bit of time to aim up that rail. DaHanG still looking around to see if he can get another angle on GNiK, but not yet. GNiK is just holding that top Mega, just trying to find out what he should be his next course of action. But he gets the first rail. Surely he's going to drop down for it. Yes, he will. If he maybe loses this frag, it could be the map as well. He's going to try and clean him up with that LG, but the rockets are coming through as well. DaHanG with the rail, just waiting for that opportunity, but it just does not happen. GNiK so desperately needed that frag. Oh, he just misses the timing on the tri-bolt spawn soon.
Mate, GNiK needs anything. He needs a lifeline. He needs a rubber ring thrown his way. He needs some armbands, Harry. Something inflatable that will bring him back to the top, because right now he's under the water and he is drowning. DaHanG's not going to help him. He's not that sort of guy. As right now, we're at 8 minutes. DaHanG's just trailblazing ahead. He's created more than enough space between the both of them. And GNiK just doesn't seem to have the answers. And even if he does he have the time? That's the big question, because there really isn't that much left. The stopwatch is on, and it's beginning to boil down. There'll be nothing left soon. Heard the audio cues as well there of him actually repositioning underneath him. Fired out the shot on the close wall, instead pushes in, grabs the Mega, darts his way back down towards the heavy. Great, you've got a bit of control finally once again, but now use that, fight with it. He's been out of control for so long into this game, we haven't seen him using any type of confidence. He's been scared into these fights. Play with this now. Use that control and get in there. Leave DaHanG with a bloody nose. As he goes around the corner, he'll hit the 90 on him, be able to at least heal himself back up a bit, but he's got 60 seconds, and he's not chasing either, Harry. He's still keeping distance between the both of them. And DaHanG, I mean, we can sit here and wax lyrical about him all day and talk about the fact that, in reality, he's winning this game, being the better player, but for now, all he's got to do is avoid. He's just got to run away, and he's probably won it right now.
He pretty much has, considering DaHanG has the speed to get away if possible, even if he's spawn killed for the full frag. It's not going to really make too much of a difference. You can see there, DaHanG's just hiding down it in heavy. And as soon as he hears that first audio cue, he's going to be up there like a shot. He's going to be flying up those stairs to the health orb, or he'll be going round to the rail side. But looks like GNiK probably overestimating DaHanG and making the assumption that he's constantly running away or he's going to do this or that if he makes certain movements. But DaHanG is just sitting there, standing still like a statue, Jack. And as you can see there, DaHanG managed to take that second map 5-2. A lot closer than we expected. It was a lot slower, a bit more passive, a bit more calculated. But again, a great game nonetheless. DaHanG only struggled a little bit there, but I felt like GNiK, if he was a bit more aggressive in certain areas, he definitely could have been a different story. But congrats to DaHanG once again.
Man, I don't know, Harry. It felt like there's a lot to be desired. It seems like there is definitely the potential. You know, it's like making a Powerpuff Girls. He's got all the natural ingredients that he needs. He's just missing that chemical X or whatever it was that completely set off the chain reaction. But yeah, you know what I mean? There's just something missing, Harry, from GNiK. He's almost given us greatness, but he's just not quite hitting the mark. And it feels like it is just a matter of confidence there into some of the plays. He was out of control for a big part of the game, which, you know, fair play. It is hard to get back into control, especially against an opponent like DaHanG, right? When he's just off farming every major item, leaving you essentially just a couple of morsels, a few lights here and there. It is going to be a struggle. But once you get control, you've got to play with it. You've got to try and use that benefit of the stack to fight back in. And it just didn't seem like we saw that killer instinct.
Chemical X. I think it was Chemical X, actually. You definitely went wrong
it was,
there.
right?
Yeah. I think so. We've watched it enough times, I'm sure. But,
yeah, that's all we do whenever you come around.
That's quite true, actually. But no, you are right. At the end, I feel like, you know, a lot of the times when maybe you're Strog and you're trying to get away, he's probably used to playing against opponents where they don't just stand still like a statue or wait for the next cue and then go to whatever rotation you need to make. He's probably assuming that he's already making this rotation because he's making this kind of movement with this positioning and with this route. But instead, actually, he just sat on heavy the entire time and just waited on health orb stairs until he was actually going to get taken down, because that was a great spot. Even though it's a little bit narrow, it's a great position just to try and slide and get away from. And DaHanG just played that perfectly. It was simple but effective, I'd probably say.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. You know, there wasn't really anything too ridiculously special to it, but it was damn effective, and that's rough. That is a bit of a disappointing result there, really, on Ruins. Overall, it now means that DaHanG is racking up the points so far throughout this series. He has taken the overall series win, getting 2 of the maps. Will he get the full 3-0 and get another clean sweep in today's games? Blood Covenant is the last map. This will be the decider. It's a Nyx for GNiK and a Visor for DaHanG. So the classic yin and yang matchup, Harry. The counters are on parade.
They certainly are indeed, and the fact that DaHanG is Visor just makes it that little bit worse. But we'll see. We'll see what happens here. Depends on what GNiK can do and if DaHanG saves his piercing sight. But for now, though, GNiK definitely needs to try and get at least one map in, or DaHanG is going to be laughing all the way to the bank, especially with the standings. If he gets a 3-0 to his name, he could maybe get at least top 3. Now though, GNiK misses the first rail. Ghost Walk comes in. Good use of it too. Just got to make sure to keep track with the hourglasses. DaHanG, slightly risky play going up to those rockets, but GNiK is in full control in terms of the items. Even though it's not spaced out enough, if DaHanG loses this fight, he might have actually spaced it out enough for GNiK in future. But the first battle comes in, the LG comes through, nice bit of damage with that rocket. I think it was 78. And he's going to chase him down, another beautiful rocket, and he could easily chase him down here. Just depends on which rotation he's going to make. He makes the correct one. The LG comes through. He needs to try and push him, but decides to prioritise the heavy.
Ooh, hello. Easy Tiger. Coming around the corner with a railgun out, Harry, as he opens up onto the first. There we go. GNiK. Oh, Splatterhouse as he pops off. Clean opening frag there against DaHanG. That's the way you need to kick off a final map. Come out, get the boots out, and show you mean business, Harry. Straight away on the board, gets his first. Repositioning as well. He's actually got an opportunity to lock down a bit of map control now, but it seems like he's deciding to instead go for the close quarters combat, reinstigate the fire back over by Mega. If he can get control of Mega Room here, it would be tremendously impactful for him. Timing-wise, though, it's a little bit slow from the draw. He instead repositioned, hoping to get the kill on DaHanG before he picked up the heavy. He was too late, but it won't matter. He's able to double back, pick up Mega, and still get the kill on DaHanG, completely removing any chance of the benefactor being that heavy pickup. That's sick.
GNiK, a completely different version from what we've seen previously. He's been playing very safe, strategically coordinated, but has kept that item control at the stack. Almost a map control. He's still... See what happens here, but he is baiting that Mega out. DaHanG is just waiting to see if he actually goes for it, but no, he won't. It's just going to take it anyway. He knows he can't delay the timer anymore. Beautiful rocket from GNiK again. almost got that third one off as well, but it doesn't matter. DaHanG still got the slightly bigger stack. Oh, that was a beautiful rocket there. And if he gets the rail or the machine gun damage here, this could be absolutely huge. He's going to try and chase him down if he can. Chosen the wrong route. Even though it's a common route going down to that light armor, it doesn't matter anyway, as DaHanG went for the rockets. He's just picked up the Mega, and now he's giving away all the item control. DaHanG could be having a field day here. He's almost took down GNiK. So weak, 39 HP, but DaHanG is so close. He's going to find him, take him down, get the first frag on his name. 2-1 though for GNiK, but GNiK can't let DaHanG get too carried away here, Jack.
No, you got to slow him down. That's the issue. If DaHanG starts to build up momentum, it takes so much to pull that rug out from under his feet and really grind him back to a halt. So, you need to counter it as much as physically possible. Issue is, DaHanG is unstoppable at the minute. The rails, that was excellent being served to us there, Harry. Piping hot rails, coming up fresh, and GNiK was first in line to receive them. And he's a greedy boy. He's going back in for more, and DaHanG will not stop bringing them out fresh from the oven. Another rail, another frag, 3-2. He's giving him the scones of death, Harry.
He seriously is, Jack. 4 rails in a row. Ridiculous. GNiK, yeah, we did say that. No, GNiK can't let him get too carried away, and he has done. And DaHanG's just literally on point. Tribot comes in, damage is done, got the info he so desperately requires. GNiK, giving away his position from that last rocket. Peeks out anyway, takes some damage from the rail, but this could be the opportunity for DaHanG, but decides to back away again. So it doesn't matter too much here. With GNiK still looking for his opportunity to try and get his default stack back.
Ooh, right, 3-2. Nearly at the 5-minute mark then. DaHanG, he is leading, but only by a small thread at the minute. Definitely nothing that isn't untouchable. He's still showing that he's mortal. He's still showing that he bleeds in certain encounters. It's just hard for GNiK to actually get a punch off towards him. Goes around the corner with both fists up. DaHanG, there's a nice amount of damage on the back pedal. Keeps himself moving towards the major item. Pre-fires a little bit too early. He had the piercing sight to aid him, but the issue is he let himself down on the shot. Doesn't land it. Has to instead reposition, playing on top of the pole, dancing his way around. He'll drop down with the LG. That's an easy frag to find. Gliding through the air to set GNiK up on a date with the coroner as he picks him off once more. 2 frag lead now.
Not too carried away, which ain't too bad. Gets the first rocket, gets the second. This could be a good opportunity to try and catch up and get the third frag. It just wasn't to be. It was a huge risk. He knew that he was heavily outstacked, but maybe getting that first shot off could have been a different story. But it was going way too fast, a little bit out of range with the rockets. And now GNiK has to try and claw back the 3 frag differential, but not with rails like that. DaHanG just needs one more. Ghostwalk comes in. Luckily, manages to back away. It's only on 45 HP to 50 armor, but still though, DaHanG decides to back away. He's going to get the heavy. GNiK going to be going for the Mega for the time being. He's still got that low ground, but it looks like he's going to give up that item. Still playing it very, very safe. And the only problem is with DaHanG, he's got the item advantage here. He can go back and forth and contest both. The timings are completely different from each other. And GNiK knows that's a mistake he wishes he probably could have capitalized on, but it's too late now. Still got 3.5 minutes left and still 3 frags in the lead. DaHanG is looking fresh. He's looking very good here.
Major item wise, it's 10 heavies to the 3 that GNiK's been able to pick up, and 7 to 5 in terms of the megas. So DaHanG is certainly starting to choke him out when it comes to the items. We're seeing that now be translated in the gameplay as well, because he can use it to his advantage. He can take a few more risks and roll with the punches. GNiK, though, trying to roll in and roll up as he rolls over towards DaHanG. But I don't think he's going to roll over so easily when it comes to the actual fight, as he shoots off shot after shot. The rockets push DaHanG back, keep him retreating and waving a white flag, because he doesn't fancy his chances into that encounter. Instead, he needs to get into a better angle, get the major item back towards heavy, heal himself back up, and play towards the mega. He's actually in a good spot here as well. I thought he's going to commit to going out, but instead just builds himself back around. He can play for the timing and watch for the exit and do damage as GNiK repositions. He's also wasting an awful lot of time here. It's a 5-2 split on the frags, but time is ticking away. We're getting up close towards 8 minutes. He needs to deny this pathway as well so he can stop GNiK getting towards the heavy, or at least do enough damage that he scarpers so he can't go for it. He is doing damage with the LG. He knocks him towards it, gets flown back himself, but the rail wouldn't have been enough even if he hit the shot. Difference is he's low, and it's easy for GNiK to strip his way through him with the LG and slice him open. 5-3, Harry, as we hit 8.
We've seen GNiK do it at the Stage 3 finals. He is quite good at Blood Covenant. Needs to show the flair which he once had. Let all the worries and the caution go and just play unsafe for now. But the LG comes through just barely in range. This is the first rail. That could cost him hit, but will he be able to hit one more? It looks like he won't. DaHanG is not going to stay around that long to take that risk. But does get the light. Oh, that was a beautiful rail there. Was going to go for the second, but it doesn't matter. DaHanG has already picked up that Mega. Tried to predict him to peek out once more, which he didn't. GNiK does have the top bridge, top rocket control. He's going to go for the rail. They're going to meet up again. He needs to win this engagement. Goes for what comes in, chasing him down. Surely this is a frag. Yes, it is. Minute and 10 left here, Jack. And GNiK could definitely take it to sudden death if he takes one more.
GNiK, can he nick this one? Can he steal it away from DaHanG? It's a possibility. It's certainly on the cards. He just needs to keep on fighting tooth for now and being able to somehow overthrow DaHanG in these clutch moments of gameplay. This is Duel at its finest right now. The last 60 seconds is where every asset you have needs to be shown. And for DaHanG, unfortunately, it seemed like he was going to go down, but his largest asset is his survivability. He's able to overcome in that encounter. Good footwork and even better aiming with the LG. Cups his way through GNiK, puts him to bed once again, and he might have just tucked him in for the final time tonight. That could be the goodnight kiss and him being sent off to sleep, Harry, as it's a 6-4 split. There just really isn't the time. GNiK, he would need 2 frags back to back, and he can't even find him. DaHanG playing a game of hide and seek, and quite a lethal one at that.
He's very good at that. We saw that from the second map anyway. He's very, very passive when it comes to not just hiding, but just keeping his lead towards the end. And in all fairness, he's got no reason to. It's, you know, it's a common spot where he was, but it's understandable why he hit for the last 20 seconds. Why give away such an, you know, an easy win towards the end when with those 2 frag lead. But there we have it though. DaHanG managed to take map number 3, took all 3 maps in the series. It was predictable, it was expected, but for GNiK though, at least that way he kept most of the scores very close, I would say. A lot closer than what most people would have expected.
Yeah, gave us some close games, gave us some good results. You know, although he's not getting maps, right, and he's not even, you know, coming close to being able to steal away a series, Harry, he gave us some good moments. He gave us some highlights there, showed that he could at least contend and keep it close. Blood Covenant really could have gone either way. It felt like by far that was the closest map we've had tonight.
Yeah, it definitely was indeed. I would say that every time I've seen GNiK play, he's actually been quite good on Blood Covenant, but he's been a lot more passive than what we've normally seen him in the past. I feel like he's been a bit more, it's hard to say, probably a bit too safe at times. I can understand when you prioritise some of the items, but there are some times where you've got to take a few extra risks, and if you take that risk, then you've technically delayed the item, and then it throws off your opponent even more. I'm not really too sure. He just wasn't really a fan of taking too many risks, but then again, I think, like, from what I've seen so far, the scores were kept close. He did his best against DaHanG. It could have, definitely gone either way. But for DaHanG, no, he just managed to keep that lead towards the very end. Some great games, especially that second one as well, where DaHanG was also playing the nice little hide and seek to finish things off.
That was good. That was an enjoyable little moment. Overall, though, a fairly exciting series. That one was quite good, but of course, it's the expected result, right? Nothing out of the ordinary. DaHanG, we know how dominant he can be. At least kept close. He was pushed with his back against the wall in a few situations, but does still win it all. Full 3-0 there for DaHanG. Good for him. In 5th place, that'll be a nice chunk of points that will keep him moving, or at the very least, he'll stay pretty much guaranteed in the top 5 now, as we are close towards the end of stage 4. Coming up next, then, we're going to be moving on back into Europe. And Harry, the next 3 games are all treats. We got some real gold coming up soon. Straight off the back of the break, we'll be going into CNZ versus Cypher. Do not miss it. It will be a banger after the break.